So before it was all booked, the plan was to go out and just like see it for the first time. I wanted to stay out there long term. I still might one day, in the near future. But the plan was just to go for a month, see what the crack was, and if I wanted to live there, or if I wanted to go back and stuff. Izzy and Tyler put me up the whole trip. Like, they were so hospitable. Hospitable?
Yeah, hospital.
Yeah. Hospital. No, they were so selfless the whole trip. Accommodation. Izzy turns out to be a master chef. And Tyler gave me his van to use for the whole time. So I can't thank them enough for the trip. Yeah, it was just go out there for a month holiday, surf as much as I can, and get to know the crew.
Yeah, well, that's so nice for them to do that, and like not have to worry about like getting a van and finding accommodation. You can, like, I'll come on to it, but like obviously like Izzy's been there a while, haven't she? So she's kind of like set in there. For you to just jump straight into that's pretty sick. But like, what was the first, like, what was your first surf session? Like, do you can remember where it was, and what was it like your first one?
Yeah, so it was the morning after getting there. It was at Granite. It's quite a funny story, actually. We turned up to the car park and all of Izzy's friends were there. And at first I was a little bit shy, and I could tell they were like trying to figure out whether I was actually a surfer or not. When you turn up to Australia after a full winter in the UK, you sort of look like you've just come straight out of hospital. And I was asking, should I wear shoes? Because they told me it's a bit of a walk.
Yeah.
And they just all laughed at me.
Yeah.
So I didn't. And they were all running off, and I was trying to keep up. Next thing, we were on this gravel track for about 20 minutes. My feet were like completely wrecked from the first day. Over the like 3 months of the year, we're in boots pretty much the whole year. And so that was their first reaction of me. And then we surfed Granite, and it was pumping for my standard. They were all like, it's shit, and it started raining, which is classic. It brought the weather home with me. But no, I was like frothing.
That photo on
the first proper day I was there, it started tipping it down with rain. I was out with boardies, they were all wearing wetsuits. I was like, oh god.
That's so fun. But like, you've been to California, but when you were real small, so you probably don't remember too much.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
And I know I'd have quite a bit of a different experience.
Yeah.
I think that's next on the cards though, at some point.
But like go into like that part of Australia and around Noosa, it's like a full-on like longboarding like community. There's like full-on culture there. It's kind of like obviously back in the day with like Bob and everything like that, McTavish, and it's just like full-on. But like, was you surprised when you got there, like how many people were like into it?
It's one of the first things like I noticed. You go to Noosa when it's on, and the standard is the same as if you go to El Salvador for the Worlds. You look around and you see maybe in El Salvador, you paddle out, you see about 10 standout surfers out of about 60, and then you paddle out of first point, and there's probably 40 of them that would have beaten the whole lineup at El Salvador. It was the standard was crazy. I didn't expect it at all, but it was really good to like watch everyone, all the different styles, because I haven't really had that yet, other than Elliot, pretty much. That was the biggest shock when I got there.
Yeah, it is cool. In terms of like, for a surfing standpoint, it's probably harder to get waves, but in like a photography standpoint, you don't even have to think about it. You take your camera and you'll probably get like one or two really good shots of like a local surfer, which nobody really knows about, but he's just got like the sickest style.
Yeah.
And, like he's fucking really good. Like, but yeah, like, do you You mentioned this earlier, but you feel like your surfing improved over that month. Probably like a month in Australia is like a year in the UK.
Yeah,
It's the equivalent.
Exactly. I think the first day that session in Granite, I think I surfed in the evening as well. From the very first day I got there, I surfed more hours that day than I had so far in 2026. I was there in April, so it's like, yeah, it's just.
And was you on the highest state straight away?
Yeah, highest state. Izzy picked it up for me off Saxon, and I think I surfed twice a day every day. Just the waves never stopped.
Any like thing in particular that you were like noticing?
Well, I was always thinking about this wave here and how I always found it tricky to match my style of surfing with the fast-paced wave. So when I first got there, I was struggling a lot with accepting that you can just trim. But the main thing is he was laughing at me at the time because I was having to relearn a cut back basically, because it's kind of like a down carve. You don't want to cut back to the white water because it'll leave you behind. So kind of like my wave reading, I think, because there was still some waves that would have a double up section and you could put a big carve into. I think just like wave reading, it was the main thing. I don't think my actual surfing got better, but the way I read waves and kept myself in the pocket.
Yeah. So like with Izzy being like cemented up there now for a few years, was you think you mentioned it at the beginning, but you was kind of using this as a tester to see if you could actually go out there and live that lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty, in terms of like a surf work type lifestyle, I think it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn because I think there's definitely a novelty of going out there for holidays, because you get there, you don't have to work, you get to like go 100 mile an hour. But in all honesty, by my third week, I felt a little bit out of sync, like out of routine. Even though I was surfing most days, I almost started taking advantage of it. So that's what I thought. If I go on a holiday again, it'll probably be 3 weeks, or I just decide go 3 months or more and find a job out there. And but yeah, like you said, the work-life balance, some of them were having Mondays off, so they'd work Tuesday to Friday and then they'd have 3-day weekends, and with that as well, there's surfing after work. And I think even just in the weekdays, probably we're meeting up with friends 3 times a week, and that's not including weekends. It seems like everyone's got just a little bit more money to spend as well. Since I've been back 2 months now, and I don't think I've gone for a meal with any of my friends, and twice a week at least we were all going out for a couple of pints and a chicken schnitzel. Chicken palmy.
Did you, so like the landscapes around there, obviously it's like the surfing's the main thing, but did you go out into like the bush or anything, do a few bushwalks? And
yeah, so Izzy took us out to, I can't remember the name, but it was pretty sick. It was about 2 hours inland, and we went through, like, you'd think you're in like inland America or something. We went through this town and they were selling cowboy boots and like real leather jackets and stuff, and you'd walk into a shop, just feel intimidated by some Aussie with a cowboy hat on or something. And we went into there, but honestly I was like shit scared. It was like, I do a lot of gorge walking and seeing the rivers here and stuff, but there you don't know what's in the water again. It was like, it's the same as the sea really, but it seemed just a bit scarier in like still water.
You can be walking along the path and like see one of the most deadliest
yeah
and you have to like, there's no barrier saying like stop, you're a snake. There's literally like, you can fucking kill you.
One of the times we were trying to get to this jumping spot in the river, and there were these twig looking things at the bottom of the river, because you could see to the bottom even though it was deep, and just big black twigs around the area. And I jumped in, and Finn went, "They're eels!" I rushed out. I was just so nervous, and Izzy didn't care. She was like in the water swimming about. I finally plucked the courage. I went out, I jumped off the thing, I swam back in, and I was like, I'm not going back in the water again. We got back to to Izzy's house, and we told Tyler about it, and he went, "Why did you go in there? They're electric eels." We just thought they were standard eels, you know, they'd swim away. And he's like, "No, those things are deadly, like they go for you." I wouldn't have swum in it otherwise. There's a point that they all go to.
But you have to drive on the beach.
Yeah, you drive about an hour on the beach, and then a bit of off-roading, and then a water crossing. Yeah, it's unreal. We got there, and I didn't really, it was a small day. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. You could see the shape of the beach, that you could probably get like a mile-long ride. And I was speaking to Tyler about it, and he said some of the edits you see on YouTube of like the craziest shortboarding barrels, so like it's here.
Really?
And, yeah.
So it does get like bigger.
Yeah.
I think I know the one you're on about, and every time I see it, it's like a bunch of like, it's like this big or something.
Yeah.
Is it? Do they go there if it's like no waves on the points or something? I know
It's onshore. It's sheltered from an onshore. The point is just a little bit more tucked in.
Right.
It's really sharky though.
Is it?
Yeah, we had to get out a few times because we weren't sure.
So, walk me through what like happened with the whole blood on the face. Because yeah, when I seen that, I was like, what the hell has happened? But
So me and Jesh decided we were gonna do a day of filming, but the conditions were a bit funny. Like we wanted to get it perfect because we knew it might be the only day I could have filming with him to go back home and stuff like that. So the conditions didn't line up too good, but we decided to go anyway, and we went to Granite just to chance it. We didn't even know if there was going to be a wave. Turns out there was. Like, it was way better than we thought, and if it was home we would have been like frothing. I was just sort of expecting like perfect first point for an edit, you know. And I was just getting wave after wave. There was like 2 or 3 other locals out, and you could take whatever you want basically. I was getting more confident, but I was shoulder hopping a little bit, and I tried to get this one wave that was more on the inside. It was like an inside bowly sort of one, and I then realised why the locals weren't taking off. It's because it was bowling on one of the inside rocks. So I saw this rock, it was about a good dry in front of me, and then there were rocks further over. So my only option was to push my board through the wave and jump out into the small gap, but there were no rocks. So I jumped out, smashed against the rocks, and funnily enough, that wasn't what cut my face. It's when I swam up, because I pushed my board through the wave, it just stayed flat on the surface. I swam straight into my fin. I literally just swam up to the surface and smashed my face on my fin. But yeah, blood was going everywhere. I didn't really realise how bad it was. I touched it, it was a little bit of blood. Yeah. I paddled back out, and the local was like, "Are you alright, mate?" And he's like, "Your head's pissing with blood, mate." So I done that. Yeah. And I don't know what it was. I must have opened it a little bit because I felt it. When I took my hand away, it just went on. I went, "Oh shit!" Bit of panic. I went in. Jesh got the clip, you know, the clip of me walking in. And I was like, "Do you think I need to go to hospital?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Should I just go back in?" And he went, "Yeah." So I went back in. The bleeding did stop after about half an hour. Scored a couple more waves. I started feeling a little bit faint with the pain. So we started walking back towards the car park. And then tea tree was working. And there was like 3 people out actually catching the sets. So I went and surfed tea tree. Yeah, so I didn't end up going to the hospital. We went to the pharmacy to get those steri strips. They're like plaster stitches. And I got those on. But when I was buying them, the pharmacy tried to refuse selling them to me. Because at this point, my eyebrow was kind of like out here. They were like, "No, we can't sell this to you. You got to go to hospital." And And I went, why? They're just going to do the same thing. And they were like, they're going to stitch that. I found out I was kind of right. They don't really stitch faces because they heal so quick. They would have done a similar thing. So I bought the steri. They ended up giving in. They gave me the steri strips and rubbing alcohol to clean the wound. And it just didn't seal properly. So we bought some super glue then, glued it up and chucked it back on. But it was good to go. And I got a cool scar to show for it now. So.
Yeah.
But fuck! No, Tyler was number one, putting me up and letting me use his van. But as well, he was filming us on a couple of sessions. You know, seen some of the stuff he does. They just recently got a cover in Pacific Longboard magazine.
Was that him?
Yeah, that was him.
Shot, yeah.
That's pretty sick. Izzy got pretty lucky getting with him. As a boyfriend, filmmaker. Yeah.
He's definitely got the upper hand.
Yeah. And the other one was Jesh. I spent a lot of time with Jesh out there. We went on a couple nights out and lots of chicken burgers. You know, chicken burger and a chocolate milkshake while we look through the clips of the day. But no, they're both legends. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have had any keepsakes of the holiday, really. So, pretty sick.
What was like the most surprising thing about Australia in general to you? Did you notice, like, did you eat any chocolate out there? Because it does not taste the same as like it does here.
I didn't because Izzy told me that. They got to add more preservatives, don't they, to stop it from melting as quick.
Oh, yeah.
That's yeah. Just the social life, like, let alone the work-life balance, just the social life in general. People make an effort to meet you. People make an effort to arrange plans with friends. And like Izzy and Tyler, for example, people just go above and beyond compared to, it seems like, what people do here, you know. It's like, yeah, just you get a text, go and want to go for some food. You go for some food on a Wednesday night, you know. Just, yeah, the social life is the main thing. And friendliness of people, unless you drop in on them.
Unless you're a shark magma.
Yeah.
A shark attractor.
Yeah.
Have you got any plans to go back?
Not in the diary, but in my head, yeah. Like, I can't wait for the next time to go. But I do really want to go to America as well. I want to hit some spots in America. But yeah, I'll be back next year, probably the same time. Might do the Noosa Fest. Seems like a good crack.